Welcome guys to another beautiful tutorial. This is a corporate trouser straight leg, and this is what we're going to be making in this class. Stay tuned. So here I have folded my fabric into two. I'm using a black fabric, as you can see, and from the edge I'm going to mark a border line, which I've already done, half an inch, just to create a straight line there. Okay, with my tape I'm going to go up by 1 inch. That is a way, remove 1 inch from the tape and mark my crotch depth. The crotch depth is my round hip divided by 4. All right, so from that crotch depth, I'm going to mark my knee length at 12 inches for an adult, and then I'll return to the -1 inch on the tape to mark the full length of the trouser. Wherever you want it to stop, add 2 inches to it for hemming allowance, so that you don't have shortage. Okay, so once that is done, I'm going to highlight every lines, as you can see. Now from the edge I've marked out 1 inch, which is going to serve as my seam allowance, or where I'm going to take my seam allowance from, because we're marking directly on the fabric. So I'll equally mark my hip divided by 4 here, and I will also mark it on the waistline. That is to create a box. Okay, so whatever I have there, I'm going to repeat it on the waistline, and then I'll draw out a straight line to get a box like effect. Okay, so this is it. Now we're going to work on the crotch extension. Right, on the crotch extension I'm going to mark out 2 inches. That is my hip, divide by 20. I'm marking out 2 inches on the crotch extension. And then on the waistline I went in by half an inch. You can decide to leave it there like that. You can decide to leave it straight. Then to get my actual hip line, I went up by 2 inches and I went out by 0.25 to get the connection from the crotch extension to the hip line and to the waist, so that it doesn't become tight on the hip line. Okay, go out by 0.25. The video is quite explanatory, and I believe you all seeing it clearly. Okay, so this is what we have. Now on the waistline, I will slant by 1 inch. I'm going to shift this down so that we can all see it well. So I'm going to slant by 1 inch. From the waistline, I'll come down by 1 inch and slant to the side, so as to eliminate smile lines on the center front. This is the front that we're cutting. We've not gone to the back yet. So at this crotch extension, I'm going to add half an inch for seam allowance. Right, half an inch for seam allowance, and I'll divide this line into two. Whatever it gives me, I'm going to mark it on the knee line to get a straight line. This will help us to centralize the trouser so that we get accurate measurements on both sides and no one will be bigger than the other. Now the knee, we're going to divide our round knee into 4. Our round knee will be divided, into 4 plus half an inch on that side, and then on this side divided into 4 plus 1 inch. Okay, the 1 inch is going to serve as our seam allowance, and the half inch here is also our seam allowance. So we're not adding any other seam allowance to the back. Now you connect to the crotch extensions seam allowance. I believe this is quite simple and easy to follow. Now from the waistline, I'm going to mark my waist divided by 4. No darts. Okay, the next thing I'm going to add is my seam allowance of 1 inch. And then on the hip line, I'm going to add seam allowance of 1 inch also, and I'm going to connect them together like so. I hope this is quite explanatory. So if the curve is not doing the work properly, you can use your hand to connect, but I believe it's necessary to use the curve for proper markings. Alright, so if you've watched up to this part, please kindly subscribe and turn on the notification button to receive more videos when we post Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Okay, so we're making progress. Now to the length of the trouser, we're also going to extend the center line. Yeah, we're going to extend the center line to the end of the trouser length. And then believing that you've taken your ankle, round ankle measurement, we're going to also divide it into 4 and mark on both sides. So whatever the answer is, you mark it from the center line plus half an inch for seam allowance, and then mark from the center line to the other parts also plus half an inch for seam allowance. Okay, divide everything equally. No part should be bigger than the other. If one part is bigger, that means there is a mistake that needs to be corrected. All right, so this is all we have to do on the front part, and then we're going to cut it out and place on the back. So we've placed it on the back parts, and from this line I'm going to go up by 1.5 so that the back side does not go down. Go up by 1.5 inch and slant to the waistline. Okay, now for the back crotch extension, this is the hip line. I'll connect straight on the hip line. Remember the hip line before the crotch extension. I don't want the back to be too fitted. This is a corporate trouser and I don't want it to be too fitted. Now from the crotch line, the hip line, I'm going to mark out 4 inches. You can see where the hip line is. I'll measure 4 inches from there. And then the same 2.5 I measured, 0.25 I measured for the front. I'm also going to measure it for the back for the crotch connection. For the crotch connection. Okay, so mark it out this way and then get our curve to connect the crotch extension to the 2.05, which in this case is falling on the same line with the front, and we blend everything together. Okay, so this is it. Now from this line I will measure the back, the waist divide by 4. It falls on the same line. The back is going to have a dart, so we add 1 inch for the darts. Remember, we've already added our seam allowance, so connect together. The hip line is also going to be the same. Now on this part we're going to mark half an inch because we want the back to be wider than the front. So on the knee line I'm going to add extra half an inch. This is not the seam allowance, we've already added the seam allowance. Okay, on the lower parts we're also going to mark the same half an inch and we connect it to the knee line. Now on the sides, remember we've added our seam allowance of 1 inch, so the side is also for the back. We're going to add extra half an inch at the knee side and at the ankle side, extra half an inch, and connect to the hip. I hope this is making sense to you. If it does, please give this video a thumbs up, share it to your friends, to your soulmates, save it for next time, rewatch and subscribe. Also, please watch to the end so that you can understand exactly what has happened here and how to sew it as well. Okay, so this is all we've got for the back, and we're just going to cut everything as fast as we can. Okay, so if you have any questions so far, do well to ask in the comment section, but I implore you to watch to the end before you ask your question. So this is all we've got for the cutting. We'll go over to the sewing. Now, front part, the back part put together, we've sewn the crotch lines and the darts. This is the crotch for the back put together, we've sewn the darts also, and the front also we've joined the front, the crotch together. So all we have to do is iron, and then we concentrate on the front. Now the front is going to have a pocket. I've cut a piece 12 by 12 or 13 by 13, whichever, depending on the person's size. I've cut two, which is for the two pockets. So I'll place it on the front side, right side facing each other, and I'll mark out 2 inches from the edge, 2 inches from the edge, right, and then 7 inches down. And that is how I'm going to sew it on the both sides. After sewing, we're going to top stitch on it and iron. Then it's now time to fold over the pocket like so. Fold it this way and put it behind. Okay, now remember the 2 inches that we sewed. We're going to make sure that we have 2 inches out of the pocket here. So we have the 2 inches, we pin it there, and then we'll go over to arrange the other side, making sure to pull it out a little out of the pockets, the main fabric, so that when sewing, of course this is how we're going to join it together. When sewing, we will not run shortage of the pockets, the size of the pockets. Remember, our seam allowance is 1 inch. So we're going to join it together. Now the pocket is ready. As you can see, just do what you saw in the last clip, and that is it. Now we're going to join the sides together, front and back put together at the waistline. We're going to join the sides. Everything definitely is going to match up, and then we'll join the inner seam. This is the outer seam, the side is the outer seam. Remember, I was sewing on 1 inch, and then we'll join the inner seam, put the crotch together and join them half an inch. The side is 1 inch, the inner seam is half an inch. So put that together, use your pin. Pins are not just for beginners. Use your pins to hold it, and you realize that they are all going to match up. Okay, no part is going to be bigger or wider or longer than the other. No part is going to be longer, not wider. All right, so take it over to the sewing machine now, and then put everything together, and we'll come back for more details. So I've put it together, keeping allowance for our zipper. Yeah, so this is the zipper we're going to be using. I will sew in the zipper on the sides where the zipper is going to be, just the same way you sew your zipper to your skirt. So after the zipper is going to be fixed, the band here I have 3.5 inches, half inch folded on both sides and then folded together like so. So we are going to use the half inch folded over to sew to the main fabric, after which we turn it over, and then our elastic is going to be at the back. But let's take it one step at a time. Okay, join the band together. So the band is joined, and this is what we have. You can see the pocket, the zipper is already fixed. Okay, now it's remaining to close the band, but we're going to fix um the elastic. Like I said, it's going to be at the back. Now fix it to one end and then draw it. We're going to top stitch on it inside the band like this, top stitch on it, then draw it to the other end where you want it to be, and also top stitch on it. You can see how it's going to come close. So we fold over the band and top stitch, and that is all that we are going to be doing. While top stitching, we're not going to be sewing on the elastic. If you're sewing on the elastic, make sure you draw it so that it will still give you the elastic effect. Okay, so this is all that we're going to be doing. Close your waistband this way for neat finishing. Cut out and then turn it over again. I hope this is well understood. Thank you so much. This is what we've just done. Thank you for being here. I'm going to see you in the next video. Enjoy yourself and stay safe. All right, bye.